Hi, my name's Johnny. I'm an engineering manager, and in this talk, I'm going to talk about flow metrics. There are four flow metrics: throughput, cycle time, aging WIP, and WIP. And the purpose of these metrics is to help work flow. We want work to flow through your team so that it gets to your users consistently, reliably, and predictably, so that it can go on and make an impact. Flow metrics are really easy to get and really easy to monitor. They're just based on reality. And for me as an engineer, this is key. They save us time and they give us signals so that we can respond when something doesn't look right. Okay, let's dive into them one by one, starting with throughput. Throughput is the number of items completed in a given period. And with flow metrics and agile teams, usually we work in weeks. So the throughput is the number of items that your team completed last week. And then it's the number of items they completed the week before last week, and so on. So if you've been working for 6 weeks, you'll have 6 numbers. And if you've been working for 20 weeks, you'll have 20 numbers. Maybe it looks like this. This team has been working for 6 weeks. It's worth noting that no week is the same. Some weeks they completed 4 items, and then other weeks they completed 7. And this just reflects reality. Now with throughput, we can use it. Instead of asking the team how long their backlog will take, we can find out using a forecasting tool. Forecasting tools are often free. You can find them with a quick Google, and they also come as plugins for most project management systems like Jira. All we have to do is provide the throughput. The only other thing we have to tell it is how many items we want to forecast, like what's in the backlog. Say, for example, 50 items. Out the other end of a forecasting tool comes something that the business actually understands. We are 85% confident that the backlog will take 12 weeks to do, or 95% confident that the backlog will be done in 14 weeks. See, under the hood, a forecasting tool uses a method called Monte Carlo. With Monte Carlo ran once, we would just get a single prediction like this, 10 weeks in this case. But the tool runs Monte Carlo like 10,000 times, so we get a whole range of predictions. With a range of predictions, we can then overlay percentiles, or the tool does this for you. And then we can choose a prediction at whatever percentile we like. Most teams prefer something in around the 85th percentile, but you can choose a percentile you want. In this case, the 85th percentile gives us a prediction at 12 weeks. We have 85% confidence that the backlog will be done in 12 weeks. So throughput allows us to make a forecast. It's in weeks, not points. It has a probability. It gives us a range of answers. You choose which one you want based on how much confidence you need. And it tells the business something honest, that there's a whole range of answers and the future has a shape, not a single date. Here's the obvious question. What if all tickets are different sizes? Whenever I first learned about throughput and forecasting, I thought that every ticket needed to be the exact same size for this to work. And it's a good question, but the answer to this is actually no. But only because of this next metric, which is cycle time. Cycle time is the number of days a ticket takes to go from pickup to done. So when someone picked up the ticket right through to when the team said it was done. The cool thing with cycle time is that you can measure it across all of the tickets that your team had completed already. And then you can make a distribution chart like this. This shows the tickets completing on particular days along the horizontal axis, and then how many days each ticket took to complete on the vertical axis. If we overlay percentiles, for example, if we overlay the 85th percentile among this cycle time data, we can make a statement. 85% of our tickets complete in 6 days or less. We call this statement a service level expectation, an SLE. In this case, 85% of our tickets complete in 6 days or less. This does two things. The first is it gives the business a shared expectation, not a promise, an expectation with a probability attached. And secondly, and this is the part that most teams don't realize, it gives you a filter. Instead of arguing whether a ticket is a 5 or an 8 pointer, you ask one question: does the ticket fit inside the SLE? If yes, pick it up. If no, break it down, take the piece you think you can finish inside the SLE, and put the rest back in the backlog. This one question, asked in refinement, before the work even starts, has caught more oversized work than any estimation session I've ever sat in. Now, some of you are thinking, this sounds great if you've been up and running for 6 months, but what if your team has just started? You have no data yet. This is actually okay, but there's two pieces of key advice. For cycle time, don't wait, just set a starter SLE today. Something like, we'll aim for 85% of our tickets to finish within 4 days or less. You choose what you want this to be. It's a hypothesis, not a measurement, but it's enough to give the team a target and enough to spot oversized work from day one. Then secondly, for forecasting or throughput, you don't need a year of history. In fact, even 6 to 10 weeks of throughput data will give you excellent forecasts. So take a guess at what your throughput might be for the next, say, 2 weeks. Maybe on a bad week, you guess that the team can do 2 items, and on a good week, they might be able to do 7. Feed these into a forecasting tool. It will give you a forecast. Obviously, it'll be wider than it'll eventually be, but already more honest than a single number pulled out of thin air. 2 weeks later, you'll have real data, and the forecast will tighten and the SLE will sharpen. Start with what you have, even when what you have is almost nothing. But what about the ticket that looked fine when you picked it up? The one that you were sure that would fit the SLE? The one that then quietly got stuck? Cycle time can't help you there. Cycle time only measures the dead, the work that's already finished. For the living work, you need a different chart. This is aging WIP. WIP means work in progress, the tickets that you've started but haven't yet finished. This chart shows you how old each one of the tickets is becoming, right now, today. Along the bottom, you can see what stage it's at, and how high up the ticket is on the chart is how many days it's been in progress. And the colour tells us how the ticket is performing for each stage. I once joined a project that had a 400-day-old ticket on the board. 400 days old. Someone had picked it up, and then something more urgent came along, and the ticket had just sat there, aging quietly in the background. It eventually got broken down. Of course it did. It was obviously too big. And of course, with cycle time and service level expectations, the team would have known not to pick it up in the first place. But even if they did, an aging WIP chart would have told them that something doesn't look right, even after a few days. So the everyday value of an aging WIP chart isn't the 400-day catastrophe. The everyday value is a little bit subtle. Imagine the SLE of the team is 85% of tickets finish within 6 days or less. You pick up a ticket and 5 days in, it's still in ready for dev. That ticket hasn't broken the SLE yet, but it's on track to. Aging WIP tells us now, on day 5, not later on when the SLE has already blown. This is when the conversation should happen. This is when you ask, is the ticket blocked? Is it bigger than we thought? Does the team need help? How about we swarm on it to get it back on track together? And you don't need to be the dev working on the ticket to spot this. Anyone on the team can look at the chart and start the conversation. Cycle time measures the dead, and aging WIP watches the living. Now you're probably thinking, okay, why does work age in the first place? Why do tickets get stuck? In a talk all about flow, work getting stuck is the worst thing it can happen. In most teams, the answer is the same. We keep starting more work. Maybe a ticket gets blocked, so we start another in the meantime. Maybe the team changed their mind about the priority, or something urgent lands in from the business, like a bug, so we start that too. And the board fills up. And the older work, it just sits there, aging. There's a phrase I love: stop starting and start finishing. That's where the WIP metric comes in. It's the number of tickets in progress at the same time. We can monitor this, but we can also cap it. We call this cap a WIP limit. It sounds like a constraint. It feels like a constraint, but it isn't. A WIP limit is a mechanism that makes everything else in this talk work. Without it, aging WIP grows, cycle time stretches, throughput drops, and forecasts become unreliable. With it, work flows, and flow is what we want. Be honest about that for a second. A fully utilized team, everyone busy, everyone with something to do, isn't the same as a team delivering value to its customers. Plenty of project managers measure utilization because utilization is really easy to see. Flow is harder to see, but flow is the thing that actually matters. Not busyness, not utilization, flow. To get our work flowing, we've talked about 4 flow metrics: throughput, cycle time, aging WIP, and WIP. You don't need a course to use them. You don't need to estimate harder. You don't need anyone in a room making predictions on behalf of people who aren't there. You just need to look at what's already there. And here's a challenge for tomorrow's stand up: don't go around the room asking what everyone's working on. Open the aging WIP chart instead. Ask what tickets are getting old. Ask who needs help. Ask, what are we going to finish today? Your team's past is more honest than anyone's guess about its future. As engineers, getting work to flow is part of our trade. Stop guessing and start measuring, because data beats guessing. Thanks for listening.